And it's the experience that actually we don't exist in the way we think we do. We're part of the great is, the great now, the great oneness that simply is. And we have this temporary idea that we're an individual, I, me, and my body, and my this, my that, my the other. And that is like a container, but what really is spirit functioning through. And sometimes we touch that place, that magical place. So yes, to answer your question properly, no, it's you can talk about it, but you can't talk it. No, it's beyond words.
kita, sungguh kita.
Sama lagi, sama lagi. Sama ka sa. Basta tata sama ka sa.
Scientifically, the beat of the drum helps your brain waves switch from an alpha state to a theta state. The theta state is the state you are in when you are going into a trance, or when you're dreaming, or in your deep creative states. So the vibration of the drum beat actually helps you to switch to theta state. So it helps you to switch really quickly from a normal relaxed state into a really deep state for journeying.
Mainly when I take people to be safe, I use a drum. I've had some journeys that have been absolute earth-shattering, soul-shattering, and personality and self-shattering. And I've been places where I've been changed in sort of ways that anyone with any fucking sense probably wouldn't choose to be changed, because it totally twists your world on its head. You know, and anyone, if you thought about it before, you might think, yeah, the change seems really good, but I don't ever want to go through all that. You know, so the journey, the whole path of it is like a journey in itself, and you change. I've just been saying this to someone now, that as I've got older, I think it's grounded itself. It's like all the bits of shit and the annoying things about yourself have been twisted out and thrown out from journeys and experiences, and as you get older, you become more grounded in it. So there's less bits that you need to throw away. In the old English tradition, we have lots of different plants sort of work. One of the ones called Lubcraft is to do with working with plants of power, and I've got plants from all over the world. I was saying earlier, like, I didn't choose to have plants from all over the world. I was ill for a while, and nothing seemed to get rid of it. And a plant came into my life, and it changed everything. And then another plant came in, and then that was like, and then another and another and another. And everywhere I went, I went to camps and people were like presenting me with plants, and plants were coming in. Oh, it's just crazy. So I ended up with all these plants from all over the world, even though I practice native English tradition. But I don't see them, I don't like look at them as though from that sort of angle, because I work with them within my own tradition and what I do, and there are actual plants that we had in our tradition. Like there's all the witching, what people might call these days the hexing herbs or the witching herbs and things like that, like belladonna and black nightshade, mandrake, hemlock, hellebore, henbane. There's all those sort of plants, and then there's like your psilocybin mushrooms that you get in the fields, you know, which are natural to this place. And then there's Amanita muscaria, fly agaric, which I like the fly agaric. A lot of people use them, but the way you work, like working with plants, is quite specific, and like to gain power from them, whatever your power is, you've got to have the right approach and make it like a relationship with the plant spirit, if you will, rather than just necking a few mushrooms and seeing what happens. It's a total different path, you know, and a total different experience, and a total different outcome. You get a total different thing from that as well.
When I was in the trance scene, I had recreational experience of psychotropic plants. And I found that because I didn't have a framework for the experiences at the time, that a lot of the experiences, they're open doorways to other realities. But once you get there, it's almost as if the volume is cranked up so high that you can't make sense of it, and everything happens so fast, and you're kind of carried along by the spirit of the plant.
And if you work with them in a real way, if you work with the plants, like they don't want to harm you. Half the time when people get harmed by plants, and this is from the mouth of the plant anyway, half of the time when they get harmed by the plant, it's because the plant gets so excited about the company they've got, the new friend they've made, they don't realise how much you can take or can't take.
And the idea of the shop was to be an expression of our thanks to the plants that helped us through this life. I felt there's a need to sort of extend that knowledge that has been lost, and medical science and mainstream tries to make us ignore these facts, and they've done this since time immemorial. I mean, people doing my kind of work 500 years ago would have been burnt as witches or heretics. You know, nowadays we're just shunned as outsiders, but it's coming more to the knowledge, especially in this millennium, that these herbs are put on this planet to help us. These plants, they're not sort of against why we're here. They're why we're here, and live in symbiosis with us. The centre of this shop is the sort of ancient traditional art of plant shamanism. Now a shaman that uses plants is one that knows what these plants are, how to prepare them and use them safely, and also knows when to use them, because different plants can obviously be used for different things, but the combination is a difficult thing. Now, for an example, an ayahuasca brew, which is a well-known shamanic brew from South America, contain up to about 100 different rainforest plants, and that's all dependent on the particular shaman and the particular use that the shaman's putting the brew to. You can go from a very light brew to something that's a really psychedelic, in touch with God, life-changing experience. Now, ayahuasca means vine of the soul or vine of the dead. Now, it's called that because not that you're going to die from it, but they use it to contact their ancestors. Now, this vine grows in abundance in the South American or in the Amazon, and it's sort of like a big vine that you'd swing on, right? But there's lots of different vines, so you have to know the right one. Now, the story goes that the indigenous people saw the jaguar chewing the leaves of this vine, and then it seemed to hone up the hunting skills. That's why they tried it. And the plants themselves and the whole subject is called entheobotany, and that entheo means in touch with God. So this is what it is. The plants actually is a direct link between us as a physical being and the spiritual. Now, when you give somebody a direct link between the physical and the spiritual, that takes away the need for middlemen or middlewomen. That will be the priests and the people that are very powerful within society, and they don't want that power removed. And that's why it's always been persecuted for people who have a direct contact with God, because you don't need the church, you don't need religion, you don't need all this. You just are.
Now, I think, particularly at the moment, the reason people want to become shamans is a feeling of disconnection from nature in a very industrialized cyber age. People feel disconnected from nature and feel that their lives in some way don't have the same sort of meaning that they once did, because our society has become increasingly technologically orientated, capitalistic and atheistic. So people are wanting to re-enchant their lives with ideas of spirits, ancient gods and so on.